Well, that's how the Mudguard's going, but I'm probably going to have to chop some off it because there's not going to be enough clearance for the number plate. But having a number plate on there will be a nice mud splash guard thing, because I remember the last time I went out in the rain. Oh, yep, I've got a wet arse. I've got a, oh, it's so wet. Oh, it feels horrible. Why did I do this? Bloody hell. I suppose the mud hugger stops mud. It ain't. Oh no, that is. Luckily, I had the foresight of bringing a spare pair of trousers. And my arse got a bit wet. And my trousers and everything. I got completely bloody soaked. So that's going there. Now, I've also been asked a few times by a few people, how am I going to carry it up the stairs? Well, I made the battery removable because that's the main, well, it's not the main weight, it's a massive part of the weight. That battery weighs about 22 kilo, I think it is. The idea of it is, on the handles there, I'm going to put a strap so I can put it over my neck and I can carry it up the stairs, not a problem. Then I've got the bike. The bike weighs probably around about 27, 28 kilo, which, believe it or not, is going to be a lot easier than carrying version 2 up the stairs, which weighed a total of 42 kilo. So it's going to be hard. I mean, I'm in my bloody 50s, but I'm a lot stronger than I feel. No, I feel a lot stronger than I look. I've got to do, obviously that piece there has got to be cut. It's going to be cut about there, just so as I've got a bit of a lip on it, and then I'm going to mill the frame around there to support it. And when I want to remove the battery, all I do is move that sideways, and then that's got clearance there. Or I could take it off. Well, not really if there's another plate on it. So it's coming along. It's bloody slow. It really is slow. Oh, it's not easy. Believe me, it's not easy. I've got motorbike controls. Yeah, it's rather tight, but everything, the flash works, everything works. I had to cut a piece of this out, this piece. Only a small bit, just so as I could get the... You see it? Yeah. And I had to do the same on this side, which you can't really see, but I had to cut a piece out of that as well. So I've now got lights, kill switch. I think no, that's the starter, which I'm not going to be using. I don't know what to use it for, if anything. There's the kill switch, which I've got to have, and on this side we have the indicators left and right, and that's the cancel, main beam, dip, horn, and that's it. The only thing I've got to wait for now is some these telltale things that I'm going to have to put on. Oh, I'll put the grip on as, no, that's the throttle. I'll put the grip on that side as well. Headlights done. Wires are routed. I'll see if I can show you the wires. So the wiring so far, this is the wire that comes off the controls, which goes down and comes out here. This is for the kill switch for the brakes. What else have we got? That's for the headlight, which goes to the headlight. This side, that goes to the controls. That one goes to the throttle. No, where is it? Oh, sorry, that's the indicators. That's for the controls. That black and blue, that's for the kill switch or for the brake cutout. That one there is for the backlights. We've got number 1 and number 2. It doesn't matter which at the minute, but one's the tail light and the other one's going to be the indicators. Over here, which I can't show you because it's on the other side, I've braided the main power wires, which are going to go into there, like that. This is for the tail light indicators, brake light and whatever else. I still don't know where to cut this yet. I've still not decided. The mudguard's sort of fitted. I'm not 100% happy with it, but there's not a lot I can do. I tightened these up, these cable ties. I did them up fully. Sat on the bike and it immediately snapped them. So with the geometry and stuff, it must actually, it's got to twist it. I didn't think it twisted that much actually. The only pivot difference is that piece there, and I never thought it would have that much effect on the mudguard, but it does. So I don't know if that's going to be okay, but it'll have to do for the time being. All I've got to do now is turn it upside down and start wiring. I've still got to have, number one, telltale lights which have got to go on the handlebars, and I've got to have hazard warning light which has got to go on the handlebars, which I'm going to wire in separately. Oh, I ordered something off Amazon and it turned up about an hour ago, and the bloke knocked on the door and this thing was in the hallway at the time, and he looked at it and he said, "Tony." It's amazing, it really is, the amount of people who know me because of this. You know, there's between 5,000 and 7,000 people going to watch this video. It's quite humbling actually to think that people are watching these videos. Oh yeah, the front caliper's on. Oh, that looks so nice. I can get the Magura back on here now, but the only thing is I cut the cable, the hydraulic hose, so I've had to buy, which is turned up, I've had to buy an adapter that goes back onto the Magura caliper. There's the other torque arm, which is done. That goes along there like that. You can't have anything in tension. You can have it in compression, but you can't have it in tension. So originally on my old bike it used to go underneath like that. Obviously these are the phase wires, by the way, but it's going to have to go over the top like that. But I don't know how I'm going to route it yet. With anything that goes into an enclosure or anything, you need grommets. So I've got to get some rubber grommets of some kind to route all the wires, and oh dear, it's not easy. I keep saying it, it's not easy. This is the original controller that I used on version 2, which did the what was it? The strobe lights, the rear. Oh fuck! This is the original controller that I used on version 2 that controlled my arse. This is the original Arduino board that I used that controlled the rear lights, which were strobe lights, the front lights, which are strobe lights, the side lights, which were on, the headlights, low beam, main beam, that sort of thing, because, you know. Anyway, it's got 6 MOSFETs on there. These are 4N06 L07s, I think they are, which will handle 58 volts, 80 amps. They'll do 80 amps constant. As long as you put a heat sink on them, they'll be okay. Just normal use, I think they were drawing about 1 or 2 amps, that was it. And obviously this is a Teensy 3.2. That's a 12 volt, 5 volt, a 12 volt to 5 volt regulator. So that was that one. This is version 3. It's the same sort of layout, but I've got 8 MOSFETs. I only need 6, I think. Is there 6? So I've got 8 MOSFETs on there. They're the same MOSFETs. I need one for side lights, which has got to have the, I'm trying to think of this now, which has got to have the daylight running lights and the tail light. I need one for dip beam, one for main beam, one for the left indicators, and one for the right indicators, and one for the horn. Purely because I don't know what current these things are going to be draining. Now I could wire them directly up to the switch, you know, like that, but I don't know what current they're going to be draining, and I don't know if the switch will actually handle it. Generally those switches, I wouldn't put any more than a couple of amps through them. so it's best to have some sort of fail-safe net, I suppose. So this is what I'm going to be using. Obviously all I've done is put the board on there, and I've done no layout yet. These have got our fly leads on. Now I don't know what leads to use. I don't know what current you can actually run off these. I'll have to look it up just to see if I can use them. I may have to get a multi-plug of some kind that I can just bang and everything's all connected in case I have to take all the front end apart. I don't know. I want to have them separate like that, but I don't know yet. I'm just getting ready to start wiring all the lights up and everything, and I've been wondering about wire gauge and stuff like that, connectors and God knows what, because obviously if I need to get the headlight off, I'm going to have to unwire it. So obviously I'll need the smallest amount of wiring possible and the thinnest wire possible, rather than having very heavy gauge and trying to route the bloody thing into that bottom case, because believe me, it's going to be tight in there. So I've got these are JST connectors, and what I've done is I've taken the main beam off here and measured the current on it, and it's actually running at 3 amps. So I've got these JST connectors I've just said, and I've tried it. That's not even getting warm. It's just cold. This is getting warm. It's not hot, but it's warm. This has been on for an hour now. So that's getting warm. That's not getting warm whatsoever. So I'm going to be using these all round, because that is the highest current drain, is the main beam on here. That does feel warm. It'll be fine. I've got it working. This is just, obviously this is only an output. I've got to do the inputs and everything else for all the switches so as it controls whatever I'm linking it to. If you want to see the video on when I did an LED, a flashing LED or strobe LED with a MOSFET, I'll put a link in the description of how to build it. This is just an expansion of that, I suppose. So we've got all the MOSFETs connected to various pins, pin 14, 16, hang on. So I've connected them to pin 14, 16, 18 and 20 on that side, and then I've got 11, 9, 7 and 5 on that side. So I can use those as outputs, and then I can link the inputs to the alternate pins. So, well, it's working anyway, sort of. Might not be fast enough or slow enough or whatever, but it's all, yeah, it's there. These wires, they're not going to get hot. They're not going to get hot at all. I've got 2 main power wires here. These are the plenty gauge. It's probably going to handle about 6 amps. That's absolute maximum, I would have thought. Bit of progress. This is the indicator wire, believe it or not. Oh, it's actually the earth. I haven't put the wires onto the input pins, but that's the left indicator and that's the right indicator. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to short the pin out, and you'll see what happens. So this should be, what I can see, this should be the left, and this should be the right. I've had to make it so as it's an interrupt thing, because if you've got the indicators, either indicator on, you need to hit the horn, turn the lights on or anything else, it's got to have some form of interrupt on it. If you had it just so as it was flashing, it'd be sitting there in a loop until you turn the indicator off, and then it'd start polling for the rest of the switches. So you've got to have some form of interrupt so you can actually, you know what I mean? I hope so. This headlight does a red side light or a white side light. If I can show you. So that's the, well, an amber, sort of a warm light, where you've got your white light. So I'm going to be using the white light. I'm not going to wire the amber one at all. What's that one? The red one. Yeah, so I don't need the yellow, I just need the red. Done it. There's a lot of wires. These are all the inputs. These are all the outputs. I've got to shoehorn that. I've got to cut all the connectors off the back, because I can do now. And I've got to get it on the bike somehow. Well, in this rat's nest of wiring, there's actually an Arduino, which is there. There's 7 MOSFETs. No, there's 8 MOSFETs on it, which you can't really see. I'm using 7 of them. One's for the left indicator, right indicator. I've got side lights, dip beam, main beam, tail light. No, that goes in with the dip beam. The dip beam and the tail light are linked, and they are, sorry, the seventh one is the horn. So, as you can see, there's a few a few wires. I've got all these to rig in yet, and I've also got the Speedo and everything else, which I've got to fit first. Hang on, I'll show the Speedo. This is the Speedo, made by Cosso. It was sent to me for review. Now, if it's shit, I'll tell you it's shit. I also got with it GPS module. There's the GPS, and there's the encoder or decoder, as it says in the instructions. Now, the instructions that come with it are crap. They are absolutely all but bloody useless. You're best off going through all the buttons and testing it for yourself and finding out what does what. You just need the basics of the instructions, and the rest of it, muck around with it. So I've got that. It also comes with a speed sensor and magnets to go on the wheel, and then you set how many magnets you've got. If you want 6 magnets, then you put 6, yeah, whatever. The only trouble is there's no way of mounting them. It doesn't tell you how to mount them, it just gives you magnets, so that's a bit shit. Where is it? I think this is actually a hall sensor which goes with the magnets, but they also include this thing as well. So I don't quite understand why I don't get it. You get cable ties, you get a mounting for the GPS, you get what I call Scotch locks, which allow you to splice into wires, Allen keys, a mounting thing that doesn't fit on my handlebars. That snaps into place there, and then the GPS plugs into that one there. GPS plugs into that one there, and obviously you've got all your wires. I don't know where all these go to yet. This thing does voltage, battery voltage, so I can check the voltage of my regulator. There's an odometer, there's a trip thing on it, there's also obviously speed, kmh or mph, whichever one you select. There's a clock on it. Expensive. It ain't worth the money. Oh, and also there's telltales on here. So we've got one for main beam, one for an engine warning light, left indicator, right indicator, don't know what that one is, and neutral. So obviously I'll need the neutral one and the engine warning light. So I'm going to fit that.